self-manipulation, self-defeat, self-destruction. I think those are all words that you've heard before. Basically, we have a disease in our society right now. People are not functioning or they're just not being the best way that they could be. They are not reaching their potential and they are not being the highest version of themselves. That does not only cause them suffering and pain because, if you know exactly that you could be more, but you fail to reach that state, to reach your potential, that is unbearable. As well, it keeps society from evolving. If you're not being the highest version of yourself, then you can't give all that you could give to others. And therefore, we're not evolving as a whole species, basically. So, we can agree on the fact that self-manipulation is a huge problem. It is odd. I mean, what does set us apart from animals? It's our ability to self-regulate, our ability to control our impulses and to delay gratification in order to reach long-term goals. But this is exactly the skill we're losing right now. So, the definition of self-manipulation is performing a behavior or a habit that creates problems in your daily life and also interferes with your long-standing goals. I always imagine this as like two forces fighting each other. There's like two persons inside your mind. This sounds kind of schizophrenic, but it really isn't. You have that one version who really wants you to do the best you can. That version is willing to delay instant gratification. That person is willing to give the effort that is needed in order to be the greatest version of yourself. And the other one is this demon, this dark shadow that is just as strong because it's also you, and they're battling each other constantly. Imagine the amount of energy going to waste by fighting yourself the whole time. So you're not reaching your goals, and you're also basically draining yourself of life energy, draining yourself of motivation and the strength to move forward. It all goes into that and flows into that fight against yourself that is absolutely pointless if you think about it. The highest version of yourself does not sabotage itself. It's one united force who works towards bettering itself every single day. So we can't accept self-sabotage when we're becoming the highest versions of ourselves. The problem with ending self-manipulation a lot of the times is that we sort of get this victim mentality, this victim mindset, and it keeps telling us that we're just not strong enough, that we're just meant to manipulate ourselves. We just can't help it. Maybe we also blame it on external factors like, oh, the entertainment industry is just so vicious. It makes you addicted with like Netflix and stuff. It's all designed for the human psyche to become addicted to it. Yeah, that might be true. But there are people out there who are perfectly fine and they also have these temptations in their lives. That doesn't mean that you have to give in to them. You have a mind, a governor that you can control. And it is absolutely pathetic, I'm sorry, to say that the reason you self-manipulate is because of external factors. Also like the food industry, for example. A lot of people say, oh yeah, it's because of this thing called the bliss point, and it's because people want you to get addicted to their foods, and it's not you at all. Yes, it is you. You can choose what you put in your mouth, literally. So don't blame anyone besides yourself. Yes, they might have an impact, like different industries or different people. For example, your parents as well. They might have an impact on your behaviors, but ultimately the person performing the action, performing the self-defeating, the self-manipulating action is you and you only. And so the first step in order to overcome this is to take accountability. You really have to differentiate between the cause of your actions, like the underlying cause, for example, that you had a rough childhood and you couldn't develop a secure attachment style or something, and the reason why the behavior keeps existing, because those are two separate things. Yes, the cause for your behavior might lie in the past. It might lie within, it could also be genetics. Some people are just more prone to self-manipulate in different areas. For example, some people are really prone to alcohol. Some people are really prone to abuse other substances or to overindulge in food. Yes, that's something that is sort of genetically coded. But still, the person who chooses to self-manipulate every single day, the person who chooses to basically fit the standard or fit the expectations of society as well, and give in to that strong urge that you might be born with, that is you every single day. So yes, maybe there's like addiction really running in your family, and maybe that makes you more prone to self-manipulate and abuse substances, but you are still an individual who can make a choice every single day, not just every single day, but every single minute and every single second. So take accountability, and please, throughout this whole video, be aware of the fact that you make your decisions, no one else. To people with an avoidant attachment style who never really felt secure in any of their relationships, with their parents, with their siblings, whoever, they are more prone to self-manipulation, because self-manipulation is basically you not trusting yourself. It's an avoidant attachment style to yourself in a way, because you have these two people fighting each other, and sometimes you're like acting according to the good version of yourself that is like secure, that is great, that has the best interest for you in mind, and sometimes you're giving into that demon. The demon wins, and that is insecurity right there. You can't trust yourself. You never know what's going to happen, and you feel like you're some kind of bomb that is ticking all the time and ready to go off any second, and you can't control it. That's basically mirroring what you've experienced in the past, when your mother, for example, was never there for you, or was sometimes there for you and sometimes not. This is what you're just giving yourself. Sometimes you're there for yourself and able to resist temptations that you know are not going to benefit you, and sometimes you're not. And you just keep repeating the same pattern over and over again, because that is what you know. So that is one cause. But as I said, it's not the reason why you keep repeating these behaviors. It's just a cause. It's a reason why that behavior exists. But it does not mean that you have to keep doing it and you have to keep performing it. But it's not just the avoidant attachment style that is a reason for this, for self-manipulation, basically. It's also that we're a lot of the times acting out our beliefs that have been programmed into our minds by society or by our parents or by anyone really. If your parent has always taught you that you will never be successful and that whatever you started was just meant to fail. For example, my mother always used to say, let's see how long you can keep up with this behavior. Let's see how long this lasts. And she never really trusted me when it came to pursuing something. She always said, no, you're bound to fail. And that's the mindset that I adopted, the belief that I adopted. And so in the past, I used to act this out. I used to manipulate myself whenever I got close to success. There was this belief system activated basically that said, no, you're not meant to be successful. You're not meant to push through with anything. So let's stop. Let's manipulate. Let's sabotage our progress because this does not fit what your mother said. But this is horrible if you think about it. Don't limit yourself by trying to fit into the boundaries that other people created for you. That is their perception. Those are the limits of their perception. Maybe they believe themselves that you can't be successful in this world. But that doesn't mean that that is the case for you. Who knows how big you can get once you actually allow yourself to grow and once you shed those boundaries that you've created for yourself. So this is, I think, the most important cause. Our belief structure. We as humans, we're constantly trying to reaffirm what we believe. We want our beliefs to be proven as being right. And we go as far as manipulating ourselves and our actions in order to verify what we believe to be true. You just want consistency. You just want to see that the way you view the world is the right way, and that what you expect is actually going to happen. So in order to change, you have to change your beliefs. You have to change that underlying belief structure that you constantly seek to be verified and affirmed. Our brain is wired to stay the same. It wants consistency between actions and beliefs. So we never really seek for the better, but we seek for the familiar. So if you want to be better, you have to make the better beliefs your beliefs. The beliefs that you can evolve, the beliefs that you can grow, the beliefs that you can reach your goals have to be your underlying beliefs. And once you have established those beliefs, you will act accordingly because you want them to be verified and affirmed and accepted. And this really is the breaking point. This is the way we end self-manipulation. So how do we rebuild these beliefs, basically? This is where this whole train your mind thing comes into play. I don't know if you know David Goggins. He's very popular in this self-improvement community, but he always says, callous your mind, train your mind. And this is exactly what this is about. We are basically two people. That's basically also the people fighting each other. We are a self as subject, the experiencing self that goes out into the world and perceives everything. And we also are self as object. So we can look at ourselves, take a step back, and talk about ourselves. And this is the thing that you have to change. Your self as object has to change. Your concept of yourself has to change in order for your behaviors to change. So how do we control our minds? Become the watcher. The goal is to recondition yourself. So basically, we're conditioned to act in certain ways according to our belief structure that has been created and, conditioned upon us by society or by our experiences. And basically, we have to actively recondition ourselves. And in order to do this, we first have to understand our behaviors. I really want you to watch every single one of your actions. Watch when you're performing a self-manipulating act. Watch how you feel when you're doing that. Identify the triggers that might cause that behavior. So document your behaviors. Write down triggers, and you have to be careful with this because sometimes the trigger and the self-manipulating behavior can be delayed. So there's like a time span in between. So it's important for you to actually watch yourself over a long amount of time and become better at identifying these self-manipulating patterns, because you'll be surprised to see how similar these situations actually are. how similar the emotions are that are associated with that behavior, for instance. Then the first step after watching yourself and identifying the triggers that lead to your behavior is to identify the belief system that causes you to act this way. So what I do is I actually write it out in words, and I imagine it as like a sentence. For example, if you're always eating that ice cream tub, maybe your underlying belief structure is, eating this ice cream tub makes me feel better. It soothes me. It makes me feel less alone. This will fix my problems. Those are the kind of belief structures we actually have. And looking at this objectively, when you take a step back, become the watcher, and actually listen to this belief, it's absolutely ridiculous. No, eating this ice cream tub won't make you feel better, and you know that, but this is still your belief. This is still the way you're acting. So in order for you to not act this foolishly anymore, we have to change that very tenet, that very belief system. So take a step back from yourself, become the watcher, become the observer, and say to yourself, no, we have seen this film before. Ice cream won't make me feel better right now. And really think about what would happen if you'd eat the ice cream right now, if you would act according to that belief system, and feel the pain that is actually going to result from that behavior. Because the problem is that you most of the time associate joy in some way with these self-manipulating behaviors, like indulging in ice cream or watching Netflix for hours and hours and procrastinating. This is somewhat created because you get some kind of joy from that as well. And it's associated with a relief of pain in a way. So by actually visualizing this behavior instead of acting it out and experiencing the pain that is actually caused by that behavior beforehand, you recondition your mind. You reassociate new emotions with, like, basically pain and negative emotions with that self-manipulating behavior. The first time you'll do this, it's going to be hard because these pathways or our conditioned mind is really trained already. I imagine these as like pathways that are already really broad and deep, and like, you know how to try them. It's easy to give in and just go down that road again, But once you start reconditioning your mind and associating these new emotions with these old behaviors, new pathways are created. And the more you will actually associate these new emotions with these old behaviors, the more you think about it, the more you take a step back and look at them from a different perspective, the deeper these pathways will get and the easier it will get to walk these new roads instead of choosing the old ones. That is a great thing about our minds. You're always able to change your belief structure anytime, any day. And that is beautiful, isn't it? To believe that even though we've been conditioned in a negative way in the past, we hold the power to recondition our minds any time, any second. The fourth step is to actually recondition yourself, because it's a lot easier to replace a behavior with a new one instead of just believing that the old behavior is wrong and associated with pain. We need a replacement, and the replacement should be something that is not self-destructive but serves a similar purpose to the self-manipulating behavior. Eating an ice cream tub maybe made you feel good in the moment, and it might have distracted you from your problems for a while. So we need a behavior to act as like a replacement which fulfills the same needs. So for example, every time you feel the urge to eat the ice cream tub, you visualize how it would act out, how painful it would feel, And then instead of taking that road, taking another one, which for example might be going to the gym or calling a friend. And so you basically associate that urge to eat ice cream with completely visualizing how horrible it would turn out, and then actively taking another route. You can also say to yourself, no, we have seen this film before. This is the way it would turn out. Pain, suffering, and no fixing of problems whatsoever. Let me do this instead. And this will feel artificial and weird at first. Maybe you feel like a control freak when you like watch yourself all the time and like actively sort of relocate yourself and reorient yourself and say, no, we're not going down that road, we're going down that road. But the more you'll do it, the more natural it'll feel and the more easier it'll get. And you will get to a point where it becomes automatic and where you really finished that process of reconditioning your mind, where the new, not self-destructive, not self-sabotaging behavior will be the one that you just want to perform once you feel a certain emotion. And the old triggers that self-manipulating behaviors will become cues for your new established behaviors that actually like benefit you. So this is the process that I really want you to go through. Understand and analyze your behaviors. Identify the belief structures that lie underneath. Recondition your mind and establish new actions which are not self-destructive and also serve the same purpose as the self-manipulating behaviors. This is just a tiny part of training your mind and exploring your mind, and there's so much more that you can do. I will talk about this in future videos. But basically what you really should take from this video is that what's really controlling your whole reality, your whole life, are your beliefs. Our brain is a tool and will act according to our beliefs. It just needs a little bit of glucose and there you go. It either works as your servant or it works as your biggest enemy. And it's up for you to decide who it's gonna be. You hold that power, and no matter what happened to you in your past, no matter what your beliefs are right now, you can change. And I really want you to believe that because it's true, and it was true for me. This will allow you to be a better version of yourself and influence the world in a positive way. And that is ultimately what we all want. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.